When it comes to succeeding as a travel agent, you really only need a few things, and that is two things actually. You need more leads and you need more sales. And of course, you need good service and all that too. But I think people really overcomplicate lead generation. That just means getting more leads. So in this video, I'm going to break down the only 7 ways to get leads. Like every single way to market, to get leads, to get in front of more people falls into these 7 categories. And if you can figure out which different methods in these categories work best for you, then you're going to really do well at this. So let's get into it. One of the most common questions I get is, how do I get leads? Or how do I get more leads? Like, how do I get clients? I'm so new as a travel agent. I don't really have an audience. Nobody's following me yet. Nobody cares about what I have to say. And maybe you don't even want to be on social media. So that's a whole other layer of like, I don't even want to post. And now I have to figure out how to be a social media influencer just to work with people. I just want to help people and travel and make money. I hear you. I've helped over 100 travel agents personally, and they're normal, everyday people like you and me. They don't have 100,000 followers or anything wild like that. And the cool thing about getting started as a travel agent is that you actually don't need to have a big email list, a big audience, lots of followers. You don't even need to have a big community to make a full-time income as a travel agent. The really great thing is that if you do want those other things, you can definitely build them up with the skills that you're going to learn as a travel agent as you go. So you're in really good company. In this video, I'm going to talk about the only 7 ways there are to get leads as a travel agent. We're also going to talk about what leads are, what you actually need to succeed in this whole thing, and how you actually do lead gen. Like, what is this whole lead generation thing? Why is it important? So be sure to stick around. Hi, by the way, my name is Brittany. I'm the founder of Travel Agent Haven, the safest, most supportive community for travel agents on the internet. I became a travel agent myself in 2020. Since then, I've helped over 100 agents personally, and collectively, I think we've made over $7 million in commissions by now in 6 years, which is wild to say. I'm really proud of that, and I'm hoping I can help you too. And in this video, we're going to do that by shortcutting what you actually need to do to get your first few or your next few clients. So to succeed as a travel agent, you really only need a few things. You need prospects, leads, sales, and repeat clients. So let's go through what each of those things are really quickly, and then we'll get into the 7 types of lead generation. Prospects are people who might be interested in what you have to offer as a travel agent, but you don't know if they're interested yet, right? Because maybe you haven't had a conversation with them. You just don't know. So they might be interested, but you wouldn't know because you haven't asked yet. A lead is someone who has actively expressed interest. Maybe they're going to book a trip in the future and they're going to come to you when they're ready. Maybe they've already joined your Facebook group. They've opted into your email list. It's someone who's a little more invested and interested than a follower, right? Because just think about how we follow people on TikTok, Instagram, how we subscribe on YouTube. Just because we follow these people online doesn't necessarily mean that we're ever going to work with them or buy from them. So those followers could be prospects. They might be interested, but they haven't quite expressed interest in being a lead yet. And the reason I said Facebook group for lead is because usually you have to answer some questions. This person has gone through a little bit of a rigmarole to be like, okay, I actually am interested in learning more from you. I might not be ready to book a trip yet, but I might be interested in the future. Same thing when they give you their name and email in exchange for a freebie, or maybe you meet someone in person at an event and they put their name and their email address down because they want to hear more from you. That person has expressed interest, so you know they're a lead. Sales, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? That's when someone actually becomes a client and they go on their trip. You get the commission from the sale, yay, right? That's when you make your money, your commissions. And then repeat customers, repeat clients, that is the gold standard. We don't always want to be worrying about how we're going to get our next client, how we're going to get future leads. We want to build up a real customer base, people we can serve over and over again, people who are not only going to refer us to other people and give us the names of prospects that we can go and then reach out to, but we want to know that once we have like maybe 20 to 50 people that we've served, that most, if not all of them, are going to come back to book with us in the future. That saves you a lot of time, money, and stress in the future, because then you don't always have to be getting in front of new people. You can get to a point in your business where you have stability, and then you can just figure out how to make things more efficient, how to work less, how to make the same amount of money working fewer hours or even more money. Like, that's when things get really exciting. So in this video, we're really focusing on leads here and how we can either turn prospects into leads, so people we know, into people who would be interested in working with us. And then I'm also going to touch on how we can turn leads into sales. So how do we get someone over the finish line of, okay, I'm interested, to yes, go ahead and book book that trip for me. We'll definitely have more videos coming out about turning leads into sales, but if there's one specific stage or one type of person that you're most interested in, or maybe a certain problem you're experiencing, please let me know. You can always drop your questions in the comments below, or if you'd rather ask me something personally or tell me something in private, you can always send me a DM on Instagram over at Travel Agent Haven. I'll put the QR code up on the screen, act like you're going to take a picture, hold your phone up to it, and then it will take you right to my Instagram profile and you can send me a DM. So there are really only 7 types of lead generation, and I would recommend doing multiple types of these. Like, you really want for your whole marketing plan to be holistic and to be one that includes many of these. You can at least start with one to get started. So let's get into them. The first type of lead generation is when you leverage your existing network. I actually have a video that's all about this. It talks about how to get your first few clients as a travel agent with no experience. It's one of my most popular videos, if not the most popular video. So I'll be sure to link the card here on this video, and I'll drop the link in the description, but it walks you through exactly how to do this process of looking at all the prospects you have in your network, whether that's your immediate network at your workplace, in different organizations you're in, online, and just reaching out to each person personally. Now, many people don't like to do this, and I understand why, because it's really uncomfortable, or maybe you've known someone who's been in network marketing or an MLM, and so it just makes you feel ugh. But there's a way to do it that doesn't trigger those feelings for people. It's really just because most people do it the wrong way. So in that video, I walk through the process of how to do this the right way, in a way that's not scammy and spammy. So definitely go watch that if you want to try this out. But it is very effective. And the reason that I recommend this first is because it doesn't require any tech. You don't have to have a big social media following. It's just talking to people you already know. So these are your friends, your family members, your coworkers, people you go to church with, people you're in soccer leagues with, whatever. And you're just saying, hey, I'm a travel agent now. I'd love to help you. Are you traveling anytime soon? Like, it can literally be as simple as that. If they say no, just say, okay, no worries. Think of me when you do. Do you know anyone else who is? Like, that's kind of the really simple, basic part of it. But I have the whole how-to in that other video. So when that happens, you're basically asking for a few things, right? Like, you're asking really a favor because you have no expertise, you have no experience yet, you don't have any credibility or social proof aside from maybe your own travels. So if you've traveled yourself, definitely, if not, if you haven't already, you're going to want to start talking about that on social media or anywhere where people would see you or hear from you. But you're either going to ask for the sale, you're going to ask for them to refer you. So maybe they'll make a post and tag you and say, hey, my friend just started a travel agent business. Consider her next time you're planning a trip. That could be something you ask for. You could ask for them to consider you in the future. Like I kind of just gave you an example of, like, maybe someone's not traveling now, but you just say, hey, next time you're traveling, send me a message, send me a text. I'd love to help you. That's an ask. I also love the method of getting a prospect from a prospect. Maybe they're not interested right now, or maybe they're not interested at all, but they might know someone who is, and it's a way for them to feel like they've helped you because it is really helping you, and they give you the contact information for someone else. That's a little bit different than them posting about you. It's them giving you someone else's contact information versus them sharing about you. So that is all part of you leveraging your existing network the way it is right now, no matter whether that's 5 people, 50 people, or 100 people. But I would bet if you sat down and really thought about how many people do I know, you would have at least 100 people, if not 200 or 300, like people you know personally. The second bucket of lead generation is in-person networking. So this is when you specifically and strategically and intentionally go into a certain event or meeting or room or situation with the goal of meeting new people. Now, this does not mean that you are going in and you only care about getting the sale. That's another reason that sales and marketing have a bad rap, because people just go in thinking about what's in it for me. And while we all are selfish humans and we all are kind of thinking like that in reality, I really want you to think the opposite. Every time you meet someone, think, how can I help this person? How can I add value to this person's time? What can I do to give back to them? 1, because that will set you apart. 2, it's going to feel good. And 3, I think one thing that really trips us up about becoming experts is that we think about, oh, we have to look so cool or be cool. It's not about that at all. You know something, you have some kind of education or experience or expertise, someone else doesn't. I want you to become a master and an expert about talking about that with people. So demonstrate that too. If someone says they're going on a trip and you've been there, give them your recommendations. Don't make them have to be your client before you help them. Let them remember that and come to you, because now you've shown them, that individual person, from that one-on-one conversation, that you know your stuff when it comes to travel, so they remember you in the future. When it comes to in-person networking, you could just meet people one at a time. And if you just had the goal of, I'm just going to make 5 friends today and I'm going to see how I can help them, that would be a great place for you to start. But there are some other things you can do too. Like you can go to local chamber of commerce events events, or maybe you have the travel and adventure show come to your city and you rent a vendor booth. Some of these things will be free, some of them will cost money, but I recommend starting small, going and growing from there. You can keep it super simple and have a clipboard and you just collect people's names and email addresses and phone numbers. I mean, that's basically what real estate agents do. We get to keep it simple too. You could do a giveaway or a drawing. And the cool thing about this one is this is something you could either do in person and or online. We see people do giveaways all the time on Instagram. You could do the same thing. You could speak at local events. Take a look around and see what your local city or your town has going on, especially if you live in a tourist destination, because your city might have a destination marketing organization, DMO, or a destination marketing company, DMC. Maybe you could even partner with them. The number 3 type of lead generation is borrowing someone else's network. Many times travel agents think they have to become the influencers, that they have to have a huge audience, that they have to build a community and grow an email list. Now, while I do think those are 3 great things that every travel agent should have, a community, an email list, and an audience, in the beginning, you're not going to have any of them, right? So when you're in the beginning, you can borrow somebody else's audience. And honestly, this is still something I do. I do several trips a year to Ireland, to group trips. So one thing I've been doing is personally going into big Facebook groups. Now, don't just post in spam. That's a really good way to get blocked and for people to not have a good opinion of you and your business. But if you approach these Facebook group admins directly, for example, and say, hey, I love your Facebook group. I know you have a big group. What would you need from me in order to be able to post about my trips or my services in here? It takes a little more time. You might have to bump up the message in case the group admins are busy, but it will be way better received you going and asking first before you just start posting stuff in there. And actually what you could do is before you even post anything to advertise your business in there, go in there and answer people's questions. Of course, on your profile, I'm talking about Facebook specifically now, you can have some things on there on your profile that talk about your travel business and that show how and where they can go to learn more. But if you have that and you go into Facebook groups and you're just helpful, that will go a long way. People in Facebook groups who get a lot of help, they will go and look at your profile and check you out if you had a really helpful and thoughtful response. And if you just did that for even 10, 15 minutes a week, I'm telling you, if you weren't doing it before, you will see people come and start following you and messaging you. Usually, if you collaborate with a Facebook group owner, this might look like you doing some kind of revenue share with them or a referral fee. So maybe for every booking, you give them $50 or $100 or whatever it is. Now, this depends on obviously how big the transactions are, and you might have to negotiate this a little bit with the Facebook group owner, but that's money well worth it, right? Like if I'm going to make $1,700 off of a booking, then yeah, I'm happy to give them $100, right? Like that's $1,600 I wouldn't have had before. Sometimes they would prefer to do a commission split. So maybe they say, hey, instead of a set referral fee, how about for every booking that you get from someone in this group, you give me 5% or 7%. Now that might not be as feasible for you depending on what you're doing, but again, you just go back and forth and respectfully, kindly figure out an amount or a percentage that's going to work. Another way you can do this is if you want to post in someone else's Facebook group, maybe they just let you pay to post. So maybe you just do $25 per post, $50 per post, make sure those posts are worth it, right? But then that's on top of the free and organic strategy of helping people in that Facebook group so that you become known as a go-to person for said country or type of travel. And the Facebook group is just one example, but this could be said for someone's Instagram profile, someone's TikTok account. Maybe you go live with somebody, maybe you record a YouTube video with them. You have to figure out what's going to make sense for the platform and for that person's audience and niche. The number 4 bucket of generating leads is building your own network organically. Now, when I think about followers, YouTube subscribers, people who follow you on Facebook, they're not all leads yet, right? Because they might be interested in you as a person or in your content, but they haven't specifically expressed interest in working with you yet, right? You don't know if they're really, really serious, but we do want to get prospects so we could possibly talk to them and maybe have them become a lead later on. So one way you do that is by growing your own network. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I'm going to have so many other videos that talk about this because this is something that I'm really good at and it's something I've helped other travel agents with. But basically the idea is you build your own stage. You do grow an email list, build an audience, and create a community that is uniquely yours, depending on your niche and the type of traveler that you serve. There are so many different ways to do this. I usually recommend having at least one form of long form content. So a YouTube channel, podcast, or a blog. If you have more than one, great. But I know we all have time constraints, so you got to figure out what's going to make sense for you. You want to have at least one form of short form video. If you have a YouTube channel, for example, it would make sense for you to have YouTube shorts. If you have a podcast, then you can kind of choose which platform you're going to do. But if you're going to have a podcast, by the way, I would recommend doing a video podcast, because then you can double dip, have the video podcast go up on YouTube and Spotify, and then you can take clips of those and turn those into TikToks, Facebook Reels, etc. And then you want to have at least one community. If you have a private Facebook group, I love that, because then people are more likely to ask and answer truthfully about things because they know that content isn't going to be seen by everybody. But if you have a public Facebook group, then it's more easily searched and indexed by Google and by ChatGPT, which means that your Facebook group could be discovered as a problem to solve, especially if you're focusing on a particular destination. So you kind of got to figure out like what your strategy is going to be there. If you end up working with me, or if you join the mentorship, we walk you through this whole plan of how are you going to build a brand? How are you going to build an audience? How do you turn those people into leads? How do you turn leads into sales? All that jazz. But if you can start thinking about this now, you'll be in such a good place. The number 5 way to get more leads is to grow your network with paid ads. Now, this is something I haven't done much myself, but I've heard many travel agents do this with success. It makes sense usually after you've already built a little bit of an organic audience, because by then you already know what type of traveler are you serving, which destination or destinations, which region are you focusing on, are you specializing in a particular type of travel, and then from there you can pay for ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. The number 6 bucket is by collaborating with others, and this is a big one, which honestly this could be like its own video series, so I'm just going to blaze through these. You could do shared group trips, so you could actually collaborate on the service delivery itself, and this is great because those people then become aware of you and can maybe end up working with you in the future. I am doing this right now as we speak with 2 different group trips, adding on and doing much more of this because it makes sense for me. Like, I can collaborate with other travel agents, I can collaborate with travel influencers and bloggers, people who maybe they want to host group trips themselves, but they don't actually want to be the agent. I'm happy to fill that role for them. So that's going to be really exciting. And then also I collaborate with other travel agents, and we can just get in front of more people because we're sharing the reach now. You can speak at summits. This could be either in person or online. You could contribute to bundles. Now, little caveat with this one here, email marketing is very different for service providers than it is for people who sell courses or memberships. So you can't always take their advice exactly because we don't have a scalable offer. At least the one-on-one service is not scalable. So keep that in mind, that a freebie isn't always going to make the most sense. We kind of have to tweak what we offer. You can also collaborate on the content itself. That can mean either building a collaborative platform together, like 3 or 4 people, all of you share a Facebook group, all of you go on a podcast together. I actually love this and would love to do this in the future with some people. Or you could collaborate on certain pieces of content. So maybe you go on each other's podcasts, or you write blog posts for each other. You do a YouTube video where both of you share it on your platforms. Like, there are many ways to do that. And it could even just mean you share each other's posts and content. You can just have a group authentically. You don't want to gain the platforms where you share something and they share it on their platforms if it resonates with them, and you just share each other's stuff. There are several creators I'm friends with who I share their stuff, even ones who have competitive offers with me, because I just love what they're creating and I agree with it, and they have maybe a different or unique take or perspective than I do, or maybe they have experience that I don't have, and etc. And I don't know if you could see my cat. She has decided to come up on the computer. One day I'll have to show her to you. She's really adorable. Are you a cat person? Let me know in the comments. I'm really legitimately curious because she's my little best friend. Okay, the 7 last bucket for lead generation is press and branded mentions. If you haven't already set up an account with Haro, help a reporter out. Highly recommend it. Quoted, QWOTED, another account I recommend. And just check the daily emails and see, when are they looking for a travel agent? When are they looking for an expert in travel? Because you could be mentioned in Forbes, Business Insider, Condé Nast Traveler, CNN Travel. These organizations, these journalists, they want to hear from true travel experts. And the funny thing is, the more you get mentioned, the more you're going to get found in Google, the more you're going to be seen as a professional by other people. So even though in my head I was like, does this really matter? It does. Okay, it does. Like, people care about that. I highly recommend learning about this from Sahara Rose DeVore. She's the founder of the Travel Coach Network. I took her travel coach certification program several years ago, and that really gave me the strength and confidence to put myself out there. I have a link for her course down in the description below. Highly recommend you check it out. If you do decide to buy the course through my link, I have special bonuses for you, including a one-on-one coaching package specifically for that. So if you do decide to become a travel coach certified through my link, let me know when you register so I can get those bonuses to you. But you'll also see me around because I'm very invested in her community as well, because I really do believe that if we want to be seen as experts. We have to become the experts. And that means knowing what we believe, getting out there, even if you already are putting yourself out there on social media or speaking at conferences, we want to get you in front of more people. With your content, maybe you can only reach, and if I say only, like if you can reach 7,000 people, that's amazing. But let's say you're only reaching 7,000 people. But then if you get mentioned in CNN Traveler, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people could see an article there, right? So we have to think about how can we leverage what we're already doing so we can do less work, but get in front of more people at one time. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is one of my more strategic videos where I really got into lead gen and marketing. I'm not sure if I even ever told you guys this, for those of you who this is not your first video, but for the last several years, before really going hard with the content for travel agents, I had a digital marketing agency. I say had, I still have it, but it's just not the main thing I do anymore. But that has been my life, right? Like studying social media platforms, getting really good at websites and marketing. And I'm so thankful I've done that because now I can help you guys with that as travel agents, as travel creators, to really think about how am I going to make this a proper business, right? Like not just a side hustle. You can still work side hustle hours, by the way, and make serious money, like 6 figures and beyond. It's all possible for you. And by the way, on the flip side of that, don't feel like you have to make a certain amount for this to be a legitimate business, okay? As soon as you make your first $50 or $25 or whatever, it's serious, okay? Any money is money, and we celebrate every dollar here in our community. Thank you so much for being here. I hope I've earned your subscribe. If so, hit that button and then click the little bell so you never miss notifications of when a new video is posted. Also, if you wouldn't mind liking this video, I know it's another silly thing, but it tells YouTube that this video was helpful. I would really appreciate it. If you have any questions, I seriously do mean it. Ask them in the comments below. Or if you'd rather ask me a question privately, you can send me a DM on Instagram over at Travel Agent Haven. I'll be sure to put that QR code up on the screen again. Thanks again so much for being here. Talk soon.